So unfortunately, it's looking like the co-main event, the co-feature for the Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter card next week, Abner Mares versus Jesus Cuellar, or rather, Jesus Cuellar versus Abner Mares. Cuellar is the champion. Has been canceled because of the fact that Abner Mares apparently wasn't able to pass the eye exams given by the New York State Athletic Commission. Apparently, the minimum required vision in both eyes is at least 20 to 200, which is, I mean, that's actually pretty crazy to me. I didn't even realize that it was that low. That your vision could be like that uncorrected, that bad, and still be able to fight. But apparently, at least one of his eyes was messed up due to that. And it makes me wonder because the fact that I do know that Abner Mars has had issues in the past. Back in 2008, he had a detached retina, which wound up delaying his eventual title shot because he was supposed to get a shot at I think it was the WBC bantamweight title against Jerry Peñalosa way back when, and he wound up having to pass up the opportunities to fight for that title on a couple of occasions around 2008, 2009. And that kind of set his career back to a certain degree until eventually he won the Showtime tournament. That's when he kind of picked back up his in terms of like career status. Um, but it makes me wonder if that eye issue's been something that's lingered, and if maybe especially against Leo Santa Cruz that it may have been exacerbated because of the fact that Leo is just a brutal fighter, and Adam Mars just went in there trying to break him in half, and it took a lot of punches in the process of doing that, as opposed to boxing a bit more intelligently, which I think he probably could have done if he had chosen a better game plan. But it's really unfortunate because this was a fight I was really looking forward to. I think it's a fight that a lot of people were looking forward to just due to the fact that Mars, he can box in a multitude of styles, but by and large, he'll make his fights action packed. Jesus Cuellar is pretty much an action packed fighter. He's a big, strong featherweight, one of those guys that you wonder how he makes the weight. The huge puncher, just a huge fighter in general. A guy that bullies you, beats you down, roughs you up, and then just tries to lay you out with big right hooks and left crosses. Just a big, strong beast of a fighter at featherweight. So it's looking like I'm not sure if they're going to be able to replace Abner Mares on this card. If they'll be able to find some sort of a late replacement. It was kind of interesting too because I know Abner Mares was supposed to fight Fernando Montiel on the card a little over a month ago, the Victor Ortiz versus Andre Berto card, and it wound up being Jorge Lara that got in there and annihilated Fernando Montiel in one round, just completely destroyed the guy, laid him out face first. So I wonder if they would be able to get Jorge Lara into this situation. It'd be pretty awesome to see him again. Get a shot at short notice, and who knows, he might even be ready, considering the fact that he was able to get rid of Fernando Montiel so quickly. It'd be pretty dope to see Lara get another shot. And matter of fact, if Lara got in there with Cuellar, I'd favor Lara in that fight because the way he just put it on Montiel as soon as the opening bell rang and just completely destroyed the guy. It's hard for me to favor very many people over that type of a fighter that's just coming at you from the very first bell and just throwing bombs, both hands, and yeah, it doesn't matter how slick do you think you are. He's coming with both guns blazing, and he's looking to knock you the fuck out as soon as anything gets going. But Jorge Lara would be a solid fight, but the only thing is I know he's not rated in the WBA rankings. Some of the guys that I was looking at the WBA rankings as far as who could potentially replace Mars for this fight. I do know that the guy that they rated at number one, Carlos Zambrano, is actually the WBA interim champion, guy from Peru. Not sure if he would be ready on such short notice, but I mean it would be pretty cool to see him get a shot and to see some of that WBA get cleaned up. They're supposed to be unifying their titles, so if they could unify the regular and the interim champion between Cuellar and Zambrano, that'd be pretty solid. Especially considering the fact that Leo Santa Cruz versus Carl Frampton's coming up. Pretty big important fight at the division. You got Oscar Valdez in there. He's likely not going to be able to be. Well, I know he's not going to be able to be fighting that because he's going to be on the upcoming card on Victor Postol versus Terrence Crawford against Mateus Ureda for the vacant WBO title that Lomachenko gave up since he moved up. And then you got Carl Frampton, of course, who's going to be fighting Santa Cruz. Then you got Satoshi Hosono He could be a potential. Sibiwe Vejeka could be potential. Of course, most people remember him from giving Nadita Donaire a tough time before Donaire pretty much got a nice early stoppage based off of the cuts on head clashes, and got I think it was a UD or a MD in that fight after like 4 rounds. You got Claudio Morero there. I think Morero's been on a couple of BBC cards, so I wouldn't be surprising to see him be able to step in on short notice if he's available. Uh, I see Abraham Lopez on that list. Of course, Lopez coming off that pretty interesting controversial victory over Julian Ramirez. Um, was it Julian Ramirez that he fought? Yeah, on the card a couple of weeks back on HBO with Francisco Vargas um, and Orlando Salido. And then you got Josh Warrington on there coming off his somewhat controversial victory over Hisashi Amagasa. I mean, any of these guys would be solid late step-ins. I'm not sure if any of them would be able to get made though. I'd imagine it's most likely that Cuellar is probably going to get slid off the card if they're not able to find anybody on short notice. Who knows, man? They'll probably wind up finding somebody that normally fights at super bantam or bantamweight to come in on a week's notice, though, because the process of having to be in shape and making weight and all that stuff tends to take a lot of fighters out of contention just in general. Um, Jesus Rojas would be pretty interesting. I do know that Rojas fought Jorge Lara on a PBC card last year, and I do know that he's still rated at super bantamweight, so I'm wondering if he could still make that weight, and in which case that he would be able to make featherweight on short notice, which would be solid. That'd be definitely a good fight, a solid fight. The Rojas Lara fight was a good one before it ended kind of prematurely. And then he was given Jorge Arce a good fight years ago, way back before the head clash and low blow that kind of took Arce out of the fight when getting it called a no contest, if I remember correctly. But unfortunately, the Cuellar Mars fight's been canceled. Um, if anybody wants to comment, let me know if there's anybody at bantamweight, super bantamweight, or featherweight that could fill in on late notice that you think would be a solid fight for Cuellar. Just put in the comment section. I'm not sure if anybody's gonna be able to fill in, or if anybody's gonna want to fill in though, because I mean Cuellar's notorious for being just a huge fighter, just a difficult fighter to be fighting against. Although it would be a huge opportunity for whoever would take it. Big card on PBC right before the main event. It'd be an excellent opportunity that I think a lot of fighters would jump at. So it'd be nice to see one of these fighters get a shot, whether it's a guy at featherweight or below. It's one of those things where it's like if I was a bantamweight or a super bantamweight on the come up, I'd jump at the chance. Because if you're able to show and prove, and defeat somebody like a Cuellar, I mean, hey, all of a sudden now your star is bigger, and you could always move back down. Should you choose to in the future, whether it would be immediately or after potentially taking a loss in the future to a bigger name, or even fighting a bigger name, like putting yourself into contention to get a big payday against a Santa Cruz or a Frampton. That's instantly launching you from making maybe 10 grand a fight to 100 plus grand a fight. If not even more so. So big opportunity for somebody out there. All right, that's it for this one, y'all. Peace.